Madam, please start.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. I think you all have listened the earlier two sessions of partial fractions chapter. In those sessions, you have learned how to split a proper fraction when the denominator contains repeated, non-repeated, and reducible factors by using rule 1, 2, and 3. Today's class, you will be learning about rule 4 and also the conversion of a fraction in power series. With this today's session, the partial fractions chapter will be completed. Children, now it's your turn to go through the session again and again and solve all the questions given in the textbook. Now, the session will be continued by Purnima madam.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
Good morning, children. Good morning, children. In the last two classes of partial fractions, we have learned about different kinds of partial fractions, means how to, different rules, that is rule 1, rule 2 and rule 3, how to split them into partial fractions, yes or not? Yes, children. So I hope you have understood rule 1, rule 2 and rule 3 clearly, and you have done all the sums, I suppose. So in today's class, we are going to deal with rule 4, children. So all of you be ready with your book and pen and try to solve the sums. And I felt very happy, children. Few children are doing the sums while I'm teaching itself. So it is very good on your part. So today also be active in the class. So let us see what have you learned in the last session. Okay. So what have you learned? Partial fractions of f of x by g of x. Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x contains repeated and r non-repeated linear factors. So then what happens to each factor ax plus b whole to the power of n, where a is not equal to 0, where n is a positive integer of g of x, there will be a partial fraction of the form a1 by ax plus b plus a2 by ax plus b whole square plus so on an by ax plus b whole to the power of n, where a1, a2, a3 so on an are what? They are the constants which are to be determined. Okay. So let us see here, children, once again what is this? If any fraction is there, f of x by g of x, where the g of x is having a linear factor, a repeated linear factor, means ax plus b whole to the power of n. What does this n represents? How many times the linear factor is repeating. Okay. So if so now here then partial fractions will be of the form a1 by ax plus b plus a2 by ax plus b whole square plus so on an by ax plus b whole to the power of n. Means here whatever is the n value, that many partial fractions we get for each linear factor which is repeating. Okay. So now here, children, this is your rule what have we learned in the last session. Okay. Now here next thing what have we learned in the last session? Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x contains irreducible factors. So partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x contains irreducible. Here already we know that linear polynomials are irreducible and quadratic factor whose discriminant is less than 0, that is also irreducible, yes or not? So now this is what rule 3. What does rule 3 state says? If any non-repeated quadratic factor ax square plus bx plus c is there in the denominator g of x, then there will be a partial fraction of the form ax plus b by ax square plus bx plus c. Okay. So means if the fraction f of x by g of x is there, a proper fraction is there, then in g of x, if you have a irreducible quadratic factor, so how can you identify this, children? Yes, you are right. So how can you identify? It should be, the discriminant of this should be less than 0. Yes. So then we can know that it is an irreducible factor. So then the partial fraction will be of the form ax plus b by ax square plus bx plus c, where this a and b, capital A and capital B, are the real numbers or constants which are to be determined. Okay, this is your rule 3. Okay, so now in today's class, we are going to learn about rule 4, children. Okay, let us see what is that. Let us see once. What are the learning points of today's session? First, let us go through them. First one is what? Partial fractions of f of x by g of x. Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x contains repeated irreducible factors. Till now we have seen up to rule 3. What have you seen? It contains irreducible factor. But here rule 4, what you are seeing, it should be repeated irreducible. Yes. So next one is what? Next topic, what you are going to see? Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x is an, when f of x by g of x is an improper fraction. It is an improper fraction. So till now we have seen f of x by g of x is a proper fraction. Whenever it is a proper fraction, how to split them into partial fractions? Yes or not? We have learned them by using rule 1, rule 2 and rule 3 and rule 4 also. Yes, means which you are going to see today. Now after that, we are going to see if f of x by g of x is an improper fraction, then how to do it. Clear, children? So now let us see next one. Conversion of f of x by g of x. Conversion of f of x by g of x in power series of x. What is this? We'll see it later in detail after completing these two things. These two, first one and second one. Okay. So let us move into our topic today. First one is what? Our rule 4. What is rule 4, children? Partial fractions. Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when f of x by partial fractions of f of x by g of x when g of x contains repeated irreducible factors. So this is our rule 4. Okay. So if this denominator g of x contains repeated irreducible factors, then how can you split them into partial fractions? So let us see. So what is this mathematically? What is the meaning of this statement mathematically? Let us see. So what does rule 4 tells us? Let f of x by g of x, let f of x by g of x be a proper fraction. Be a proper fraction. Till now we are seeing, we are dealing with only proper fractions, children, in all the cases. Rule 1, rule 2, rule 3 and rule 4. We are dealing with only proper fractions. Okay. Let f of x by g of x be a proper fraction if n belongs to n is the largest exponent, and here condition is n should be greater than 1. Okay, so that ax square plus bx plus c whole to the power of n is a factor of g of x, then corresponding to each such factor there will be partial fractions of the form a1x plus b1 by ax square plus bx plus c, plus second partial fraction is a2x plus b2 by ax square plus bx plus c whole square, plus so on anx plus bn by ax square plus bx plus c whole to the power of n, where a1, a2, so on an and b1, b2, so on bn are the constants to be determined. Clear, children? So let us once again let us see what is this. If f of x by g of x is a proper fraction. Okay. Here what you are saying, the g of x should have a quadratic factor and it should have a power n. What is that power n? What is the condition for this n value? It should be greater than 1. Why it is greater than 1, children? Then only we say that it is repeated. Yes or not? Greater than 1 means what? It can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4, so on. So if it is greater than 1, then only we say that it is repeated, because our rule 4 is about repeated irreducible factors. Yes or not? So that's why here n should be always greater than 1 only. So then here for each such factor, what you will have here, a partial fraction we have. So whatever similar to the rule 2, children, we can verify rule 2 also once again. Okay, so similar to rule 2 here, whatever is the n value, that many partial fractions we get. Okay, so if n is equals to depending on n value, if n is 2, then we'll get 2 partial fractions. If n is 3, we get 3 partial fractions, so on. Okay, so then how the partial fractions will be? a1x plus b1 by ax square plus bx plus c. This is the first partial fraction. Okay, second one is a2x plus b2 by ax square plus bx plus c whole square. So on. Here n value means n number of terms we should get, n number of partial fractions we should get. So what is the nth partial fraction? A n x plus b n by ax square plus bx plus c whole to the power of n. Here the constants a1 to an and constants b1 to bn are to be determined. So by seeing this statement, by seeing this one, this expression, by seeing this expression, do you remember the rule 2? It has come to your mind or not? It is similar to that or not? Here in place of just quadratic factor, there you had linear factor. And here because it is a quadratic factor, here the numerator term will be a1x plus b1. Okay. So now here this is a mathematical representation of rule 4. So then how to solve? Means how to split them into partial fractions? Let us see once again by an example. Okay. Means by doing one sum. So what is it, children? Resolve x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square into partial fractions. So what is our question? X square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square into partial fractions. So this has to be divided or split into partial fractions. So let us see, children, once. So let x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square, x square plus x plus 1 whole square is equal to what? Here if you observe here, children, what is it? It is a repeated irreducible factor. Yes or not? Ax plus b by x square plus x plus 1. This is the first partial fraction. And second, because here n value is 2, no? So two partial fractions we should get. The second one is what? Cx plus d by x square plus x plus 1 whole square. So you know how to check it is irreducible or not. Already in the last class also we did that, children. So here also we can verify the discriminant value. You can verify the discriminant value b square minus 4ac. It is less than, you will get it as less than 0. Okay, so that's why it is irreducible. And here these are the two partial fractions we get. So now here what you are going to do, we take the LCM on the RHS. X square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square. X square plus x plus 1 whole square is equal to, what is the numerator term? Ax plus b into x square plus x plus 1, x square plus x plus 1 plus cx plus d into x square plus, sorry, here already x square is then term is the square term is there, no? So that itself is the LCM. So here we get only cx plus d. Clear? So now here if you observe the terms on LHS and RHS, the denominators are same. Okay, children? So let us cancel them. So let us cancel the denominators. Clear? So now here what is left after cancelling the denominators on both sides? What is left? The numerators are left. X square plus 1 is equal to ax plus b into x square plus x plus 1 plus cx plus d plus cx plus d. So this is the equation what is left. Now here similar to the previous sums what you have done in the last sessions. So this is our equation, children, what you have got in the last slide. So x square plus 1 is equal to, let us expand it. Ax into x square is how much? Ax cube plus in x square terms. If you observe here, ax into x is how much, children? Ax square. So x square coefficient is a, and here b into x square is bx square. So x square coefficient is here b. So I'm writing them together, a plus b into x square plus x coefficients. So wherever x terms are there, ax into 1 is a, b into x is b, and cx, here it is c into x plus constants, b into 1 is b, and here constant is d. So this is the equation what we have got. Let it be equation number 1. Now here what we did, children, here in such case what we did in the previous sums is, you are absolutely right. So what we did, children, we have equated, so not equated the coefficients of the corresponding terms or like terms. So let us see what you are going to do here. Equating the coefficients of x cube terms on both sides. Equating the coefficients of x cube terms on both sides of equation number 1. What we get? What is the coefficient here in RHS? We have a. And in LHS, what do we have? Because do we find any x cube term here? No. So whenever x cube term is not there, what we should put? Yes, it should be 0. The coefficient is taken as 0. So that's why here what we get, children? A is equal to 0 because there is no x cube term in LHS. The coefficient is taken as 0. Okay. Next, what you are going to equate? Coefficients of x square. Equating the coefficients of x square terms on both sides of equation number 1, we get what we get here. Here we have a plus b and here you have as 1. So a plus b is equal to how much, children? Is equal to 1. Next one, what you are going to equate now? X terms. So now here, before going to that, here what is already we know a value now. So let us replace here a value. That is a is equals to 0 plus b is equal to 1. So what is the next step? B is equals to 1. So this is a, now here we got already two constants values we got. A is equals to 0 and b is equal to 1. Total how many constants we have here? A, B, C, D. So still two more constants are to be find out. Okay. Let us see. Equating the, this is our equation number 1, children. Equating the coefficients of x terms on both sides of equation number 1. So what is there? Again here if you observe the LHS, we don't have any x term. So because we don't have it, we should take the coefficient of x as 0. So what is there on RHS? A plus B plus C is equal to 0. Now here in this equation, which values we know already? Yes, you are right. Here we know A and B values. Now here it is 0 plus 1 plus C is equal to 0. Since A is equal to 0 and B is equal to 1. So now here 0 plus 1 is 1 now. So this 1 is gone to other side. So what happens here? It becomes minus 1. So now we got the value of C as minus 1. So next what is left to equate? Constants. Equating the constant terms on both sides of equation number 1. Equating the constants on both sides. What we will get here? B plus D is equal to 1. So here we know B value. Let us replace it. So B is equal to 1 now. 1 plus D is equal to 1. On both sides, 1 and 1 are cancelled. So then what happens, children, here? It is 0. So here 1 and here also 1 are cancelled. So then the value of D is equal to 0. Now we got all the constants. Yes or not? So let us see here one by one. So these are the four values, four constants values we have. And what is our equation, which where we split into partial fractions? This is our equation. Do you remember? Yes. So now here, wherever constants are there, these values has to be replaced. So then it will be x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square is equal to a is 0. So 0 into x plus b is 1 by x square plus x plus 1 plus c is minus 1. So here minus 1 into x plus 0 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square. So next what happens here? This is a x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 whole square is equal to 0 into x is 0. 0 plus 1 is 1. 1 by x square plus x plus 1. Here plus into minus is minus. So this minus I am writing here. X by x square plus x plus 1 whole square. So this is these are the two partial fractions which the given f of x by g of x is split into. Clear, children? So like this you have to solve the sums wherever you have the irreducible quadratic factor. Irreducible, that is irreducible repeated quadratic factor. Like this you have to split the partial fractions. Here whatever is the power you have in the for the quadratic factor, that many partial fractions we get. Clear? And for each partial fraction in the denominator, the power will be increasing. Yes, here we have power 1 and here the second one we have power 2. If one more is there, then it has power 3, like that, so on. Okay, it will be increasing. So this is like this you have to solve. I hope the sum is clear to you, children. You can try the other sums which you have in your book. Okay, now next one, let us see improper fraction. So what is an improper fraction? Already learned their proper fraction is what? Where the degree of f of f, if any fraction f of x by g of x is there, then if the degree of f of x is less than degree of g of x, it is it is proper fraction. Is or not? So now we have three cases we'll have. One is less than, one is greater than, and one can be equal. Is or not? So if less than, it is a partial fraction. Means if degree of f of x is less than degree of g of x, it is a proper fraction. Then here what is other two cases? Irrational fraction f of x by g of x, where is called an improper fraction if the degree of f of x, if the degree of f of x is greater than or equal, the two cases are there here, children, remember, greater than or equal to degree of g of x. So in these two cases, we call it as an improper fraction. Means if any fraction is there, if any rational fraction is given to you, children, f of x by g of x, then the degree of the numerator is greater than degree of denominator, it is called an improper fraction. Yes, remember on that day I told you. Yes, there is other case also. What is that other case? If the degree of f of x is equal to degree of g of x, if these two degrees are equal, then also it is called as an improper fraction, children. Okay. Now here, what is it mathematically? Let us see. How can you see this with an example? Suppose here this is a fraction, what I have, 3x square plus 2x plus 1 by 4x plus 3. So this is our fraction. What is there in the numerator? Here you have a quadratic polynomial, yes or not? So what is the degree of this? It is 2. And what you have in the denominator? Denominator is a linear polynomial. So here you have the degree as 1. Okay. So here by seeing the degrees in the polynomials itself, we can say that the degree of the numerator is 2 and the degree of the denominator is 1. So it is more or not? Yes. So degree of numerator is more than degree of denominator. So this fraction is called as what? It is an improper fraction. And next example, children, one more example we'll see. Suppose here another fraction I have, x square plus 2x plus 1 by x square minus 3. Now here this is a rational fraction f of x by g of x I have. So if in the two cases, in the numerator you have a quadratic polynomial, in the denominator also you have a quadratic polynomial. So what are the degrees of a quadratic polynomial? It is 2, yes or not? So that's why here the numerator degree is 2 and the denominator's degree is also equal to 2. So that means what here? The numerator and denominator both has same degree. What is the same degree here in this case? It is 2. It is 2. So that's why this fraction is called as an improper fraction. Is it clear, children? Whenever the degree of the numerator is greater than or equal to the degree of the denominator, in these two cases, we call a fraction as an improper, rational fraction as an improper fraction. Clear, children? So now let us see, whenever you have an improper fraction, how can you reduce them? How can you split them into partial fractions? Yes or not? So till now we have been seeing the proper fractions only. Now we are going to see an improper fraction. Partial fractions of f of x by g of x, when it is an f of x by g of x is an improper fraction. When it is an improper fraction, let us see how can we split them. Okay, what is an improper fraction? Just now we have seen degree of f of x should be greater than or equal to the degree of g of x. So what is it? Let us see, children, one by one. Here, case 1. Here, because I told about two cases now. One is greater than case and other one is equal to case. Yes. So now here the case 1, first case we are taking as if degree of f of x is equal to degree of g of x. Then by division algorithm, there exists a unique constant k and a polynomial r of x such that f of x is equal to k into g of x plus r of x, where k is a quotient and r of x is equal to 0 or degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x. So what does it mean, children? Let us see once. Suppose here f of x by g of x, f of x by g of x is an improper fraction. Okay. So here what is the first case we are seeing? Because it is an improper means it can be greater than or it can be less than, where degree of f of x and degree of g of x. So now here the degree of f of x is equal to degree of g of x I am considering as a case 1. Okay. If in such case, what will have, if these two degrees are equal, then what happens? There by division algorithm. Division algorithm means what? Euclid's division algorithm was there, no? In 10th class we learnt about it. A is equal to bq plus r. What is it? Dividend is equal to divisor into quotient plus remainder. Yes. So in such case, what we have, children, the according to that, there is a unique constant k. There exists a unique constant k and a polynomial r of x. What are these two? K is a quotient. In our case, k is a quotient and the r of x is your remainder. Clear? So this is your dividend because the numerator is the dividend always. Yes or not? Whenever you write in the division form, the numerator part is always taken in the dividend place. So this is your dividend and this is your quotient k, and here it is your divisor. With what you are dividing f of x? By g of x. So this is your divisor, and whatever is left, whatever is left here, answer the solution, the means the remainder, that is your r of x. So if the g of x divides f of x exactly, then the remainder will be 0. If it is not dividing exactly, then we will get a polynomial. Yes or not? In the remainder. So that polynomial, how that polynomial will be? The degree of the polynomial in r of x, in the remainder, will be less than degree of g of x. G of x is the divisor. Yes or not? So let us see with an example what is this exactly. If you see an example, it will be more clear to you. Okay. So f of x is equal to k into g of x plus r of x. This already we have seen in the last slide, children, where k is the quotient and g of x, r of x is the remainder, where it is 0 or degree of r of x will be less than degree of g of x. So from 1, what can you say? F of x by g of x can be expressed as f of x by g of x is equal to k plus r of x by g of x. We can write this as, this improper fraction can be written as k plus r of x by g of x, because whenever you have a denominator, still that has to be divided, no? Yes or not? By g of x. So that's why here we are writing as r of x by g of x, where r of x by g of x is a proper fraction. Why I am saying here it is a proper fraction? Because here we got the case as degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x. Here if you observe this one, r of x is in the numerator. So that means degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator, no? So that this is a case for what? It is nothing but a proper fraction. Yes or not? So that means what? Whenever an improper fraction is there, that will be transformed to a proper fraction. Yes. So r of x by g of x, which is to be resolved into partial fractions. Already you using the appropriate rule. So whenever a proper fraction is there, we have 4 rules where it has to be split into, where it can be split into partial fractions. Yes or not? We have seen 4 rules are there for us. So depending on the rule which is applicable there, that can be taken here. Clear? So let us see with an example what is it exactly. So what is a improper fraction I am taking? 2x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1. Here I am taking the case, what is our case? Degree of numerator is equal to degree of denominator. That is our case. Yes or not? So 2x square plus 1 is equal by x square plus x plus 1. Now here, what can you do here? Because it is an improper fraction, first it has to be divided. So you know the long division method which you learnt in school level. So let us see what is it. So now here it is our dividend. The numerator is our dividend, 2x square plus 1. Because there is no x term, I am writing here 0 into x. So 2x square plus 0 into x plus 1. What is the divisor? That is our g of x. This is our g of x. That should be the divisor. X square plus x plus 1. Now x square into how much is 2x square? X square into 2. Yes. So here we'll get the quotient. In quotient place we'll get 2 into 2 is equal to 2x square plus x into 2 is plus 2x plus 1 into 2 is plus 2. Do you remember this long division method, children? I hope you remember. Okay. So now here, what we have here, because both are of same sign, to cancel them, to subtract them, what we do? We change our sign. That is minus. Here also plus 2x is there. It becomes minus 2x. Plus 2 becomes minus 2. So now here what happens here, children? This plus 2x square and minus 2x square got cancelled, and here my 0 is there here. Here minus 2x is there. 0 minus 2x is minus 2x. 1 minus 2 is minus 1. So now here this is your r of x. This is your r of x. So now here the denominator r of x can be what? According to our statement what you have learned, it can be remainder can be 0, or it can be a polynomial whose degree is less than degree of g of x. Now here you didn't get the remainder as 0, but we have got a polynomial. Which polynomial it is? It is a linear polynomial. What is the degree of this one? The degree is 1. Yes or not? So this degree is 1, and what is the degree of our g of x? It is 2. So the remainder, the polynomial what you got in the remainder, the degree of it is less than degree of g of x or not? Yes? Is it clear, children? So now here this is the case what we have. So that otherwise if it is dividing this exactly, then here we get what? 0. So when you have a 0, so nothing but a 0 polynomial. Yes or not? So now here let us see how can you write this as a division algorithm statement. 2x square plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 is equal to 2 plus this, because here with the remainder is not 0, still this has to be divided. What is this? R of x. This has to be divided by what? X square plus x plus 1. So that's why this by this we are writing here. 2 plus minus 2x minus 1 by x square plus x plus 1. So now here it is our constant k. According to our previous statement, it is our constant k, which is our quotient, and it is our R of x, which is the numerator in this proper fraction, because the degree is 1, here the degree is 2. Degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator. So it has become a proper fraction. So what is our statement now? F of x by g of x is equal to k. Here in our case, what is k here? 2. K plus R of x by g of x. R of x is our remainder and g of x is our divisor. Is it clear, children? So whenever an improper fraction is there like this, so here like this, first of all you have to divide the two fractions, then we'll get the constant k, that is our quotient, plus whatever is the remainder left here, that will be your numerator in the proper fraction. Is it clear, children? So like this you have to solve. Now let us see the case 2. So it is nothing but our k plus R of x by g of x. So let us see our case 2. What is the case 2 now? If degree of f of x is greater than degree of g of x, then what happens, children? By division algorithm, it can be expressed as f of x by g of x. F of x by g of x is equal to q of x plus R of x by g of x. So what is it? Now let us see once. If the degree of f of x is greater than degree of g of x. So first case you have seen, here it is equal to. Okay, now second case what you are seeing, it is greater than. Then by division algorithm, it can be expressed as like this. F of x by g of x is equal to q of x plus R of x by g of x, where q of x is a non-zero polynomial, nothing but our quotient. Okay, and R of x by g of x is a proper fraction, which can be resolved into partial fractions using an appropriate rule. Same thing in what you have learned in case 1. Only the difference is here in case 1, here you will get a constant only, because the degrees are same there. Yes or not? So here it is, so definitely you will get a constant here as quotient. But whereas in this case 2, where the degree of f of x is greater than g of x, here you won't get the constant. Here you will get a polynomial as our quotient. And whatever is the remainder left, that is taken as the numerator, and which has to be divided by our g of x, which is our proper fraction, because the degree of the remainder is always less than degree of the divisor. Okay, so here it is a degree of numerator and it is a degree of denominator. Degree of numerator is less than degree of denominator. So it is a proper fraction, and using our 4 rules, whichever is applicable there, that we use to split them into the partial fractions. Clear, children? So let us see it with an example. So what is this, children? Let us see. Example, 2x cube plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1. This is our improper fraction. Why I am saying it as an improper? Because the degree in the numerator is 3 and the degree in the denominator is 2. Okay, so it is more, degree of numerator is more. So that's why I am saying it as an improper fraction. So whenever you see an improper fraction, first you have to divide that using our long division method. So what is that? 2x cube plus, there is no x square term and x term. So that's why I'm putting them as 0 into x square plus 0 into x plus 1. And what is the divisor? X square plus x plus 1. So how many times it divides, children? X square into how much will give you 2x cube into 2x. Very good. So it is 2x. X square into 2x is 2x cube plus x into 2x is 2x square plus 1 into 2x is 2x. Again here I am changing the signs, children, so that they can be cancelled. Which two terms are cancelled now? 2x cube and 2x cube are cancelled. So after cancellation, what is left here? 0 minus 2 is minus 2. Minus 2x square. Here 0 minus 2 is again minus 2x. Plus here one more constant is left that I am taking down, which is plus 1. How many times it goes, children? X square into how much will give you minus 2x square? It is minus 2. So it is now minus 2x square minus 2x square plus x into minus 2 is minus 2x plus 1 into minus 2 is minus 2. So now here, what are the, because again here these two are of same sign, just change the signs, children. Plus minus becomes plus, here also minus becomes plus. Now here again plus 2x square term, this is our minus 2x square term, and it is our, it has changed it to plus. So it is now minus plus 2x square term is cancelled. Now here again minus 2x term and plus 2x term is cancelled. After cancellation, what is left? 1 plus 1 is there and plus 2 is there. What is it, children? Nothing but 3. So what is the denominator, remainder we got here? It is 3. So now here it is our dividend and it is our divisor, it is the quotient and it is the remainder. Yes. So by division algorithm, how can you write? Dividend is equals to divisor quotient into divisor, yes, plus remainder, yes or not? So but here the remainder has to, according to our partial fractions, this concept, the remainder has to be still divided by this divisor, yes or not? Still it is there, but here because the degree is not degree is less than this one, you cannot, it is not possible. So what we are doing here, how can you write that? 2x cube plus 1 by x square plus x plus 1 is equal to x square plus x plus 1 is equal to, how can you write, children? Quotient. What is our quotient? 2x minus 2 plus, still what is there to divide? 3 is there to divide by x square plus x plus 1. So that can be written as 3 by x square plus x plus 1. So what is in the numerator now? It is a, which polynomial it is? It is a constant polynomial whose degree is 0. Yes or not? So, and here what is this one in the denominator? It is a quadratic polynomial whose degree is 2. So the degree of the numerator is less than degree of denominator. So it is a proper fraction. Is it clear, children? So whenever an improper fraction is there, first we have to divide that using long division method. After that, what we get? We get a quotient as a q of x. I told now here you won't get any constant, say only constant we won't get. It is the case only where degree of f of x is equal to degree of g of x. But here degree of f of x is greater than degree of g of x. So he'll get a polynomial here as a quotient. Okay. Plus 3 by x square plus x plus 1, which is our proper fraction, which is to be split into partial fractions. Clear, children? So like this. Next one, what we will do here? What is the next step here? That is f of x by g of x is equal to, it is our q of x. Q of x plus, it is our r of x now. R of x by g of x. So here it is the statement what we have in the case 2. Now let us see how can you solve this with an example. Resolve x to the power of 4 by x minus 1 into x minus 2 into partial fractions. So now here if you observe the fraction what we have, it is the numerator's degree is 4 and the denominator's degree is how much? If they are a product of two linear factors, yes or not? So when you multiply, what we get? X square minus 3x plus 2. That means what is the degree here? It is quadratic. So it is the degree is 2 here. So numerator's degree is 4 and denominator's degree is 2. So obviously we can say that the numerator's degree is more than denominator's degree. So it is which fraction now? It is an improper fraction. Yes, children. So how can you split them into that one? First, what you have to do? X to the power of 4 by x square minus 3x plus 2 is equal to, what I am doing here, children? In place of this x minus 1 into x minus 2, I am writing x square minus 3x plus 2 because the product of these two is nothing but this one. Okay. Because it is an improper fraction, what you are going to do? We are going to do the division using our long division method. So let us see it. How can you do? X square minus 3x plus 2 it is a divisor. X to the power of 4 into 0 into x cube, 0 into x square plus, and what is the term here? X square into how much will give you x to the power of 4? X square. So x square into x square is x to the power of 4. Then minus 3x into x square is minus 3x cube plus 2 into x square is 2x square. So now here next one, what is the next step? You have to change the sign because both are of same sign, yes or not? So let us change the sign here. Minus, minus becomes plus, plus becomes minus. Now here again our x to the power of 4 term, our x to the power of 4 term, and here also our x to the power of 4 term is cancelled. So what is left now? 3x cube minus 2x square is left. Okay. Now again still if you, this is your reminder in the first case. First step, this is a reminder. So now here you have to verify. What is the degree here? The degree of the remainder 3. What is the degree of the divisor? 2. Still the degree of the remainder is more. Yes or not? So if you write r of x by g of x, this by this, again the degree of this is more, no? Again it is an improper fraction. Yes or not? So that means again still you have to divide. Still the division process continues. So x square into how much is 3x cube? It is plus 3x. Nothing but 3x cube. Minus 3x into 3x is minus 9x square. Plus 2 into 3x is 6x. Now here what you are doing here? I'm changing the sign. Minus plus minus. So which are cancelled now? 3x cube and plus 3x cube and minus 3x cube are cancelled. So what is left now? 9 minus 2 is 7. 7x square minus 6x. So again here if you observe, the denominator, the remainder is 7x square minus 6x. What is the degree here? 2. And what is the degree of the divisor? It is also 2. So when you write r of x by g of x, the degrees are same. So if the degrees of numerator and denominator are same, then what is it? What is it, children? Yes, you are right. It is an improper fraction. So whenever you have an improper fraction, the division process should be there. Yes or not? So still the division process continues. So with what we'll divide here? X square into how much is 7x square? It is plus 7. So it is now 7x square. Minus 3x into 7 is minus 21x plus 2 sevens are 14. So what I am doing here? I am changing the sign. So minus plus minus. So here again our minus 7x square and plus 7x square are cancelled. After cancellation, what is there, children? What we are getting here? 21 minus 6 is 15x minus 14. So what is the remainder we got here, children? 15x minus 14. Okay. So I'm writing here, children, once. What is the remainder r of x we got, children? 15x minus 14. So this is the r of x what we got. Okay. So then how can you write that our fraction here? X to the power of 4 by x square minus 3x plus 2. This is our given fraction. So this is a quotient what we got. X square minus 3x plus 7. Okay. Plus what is the remainder we got? 15x minus 14 is our remainder by x square minus 3x plus 2. Okay. Now why I am writing here? Because the degree is 1 here and degree is 2 for the divisor. So degree is less here. That means it has changed to now proper fraction. So that means what? Whenever you have the improper fraction, you have to do the division process until when you get the remainder as a term where the degree is less than the divisor. Less than the divisor. Until then you have to means where it converts to a proper fraction. Until that step you have to continue our division process. Clear? So now here this is our equation number 1. Now here what is this? This term. This is a constant. This is a quotient already what we got. Now this is a proper fraction which has to be divided into partial fractions. Yes or not? So what is the partial fractions? How can you write them? Because it is our quadratic one. It has to, it is nothing but product of two linear factors which is given in our question itself. Yes or not? So in place of this, I'm taking the two linear factors x minus 1 into x minus 2. So now here what kind of factors they are? They are irreducible, non-repeated linear factors. They are non-repeated linear factors. So that means for the first one we get one partial fraction, and for the second one we get another partial fraction. So what are they? A by x minus 1 plus b by x minus 2. Let it be our equation number 2. Dear children. So what is our next step? Have to take the LCM. 15x minus 14 is equal to a into x minus 2 plus b into x minus 1. So already after taking in many sums already we have done, children. After taking LCM, the on both the sides the denominators gets cancelled, yes or not? So after cancellation, what will be left? Only the numerator terms are left. What is that? 15x minus 14 is equal to a into x minus 2 plus b into x minus 1. Clear? So now here, because here we have two constants and sufficient linear factors are there. So here which method we follow? No need of equating here. Yes or not? Here we'll substitute the value for x. What we do? Putting x is equal to 2 in equation number 3. So what we get, children, after putting that? 15 into 2 minus 14 is equal to a into 2 minus 2 plus b into 2 minus 1. So what is 15 to the 30 minus 14 is equal to, it is nothing but 0. A into 0 plus 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 into b is b. Now 30 minus 14 is how much? It is 16. Yes or not? So here a into 0 is 0. It is plus b is b. B is equal to 16. Now we got the value of b. Now another linear factor is there with us. What is that? X minus 1. So further to cancel this or to eliminate this, how much value should be given here? Tell me, children, how much value should be given here? Yes, you are right. X should be equal to 1. So then only this term becomes 0. Now this is our equation number 3. Now by putting x is equal to 1 in equation number 3, what we get? 15 into 1 minus 14 is equal to a into 1 minus 2 plus b into 1 minus 1. 15 ones are 15 minus 14 is equal to, it is 1 minus 2 is minus 1. Minus 1 into a is minus a plus b into 0. Now here 1 minus a is equal to 1 implies a is equal to minus 1. So now we got the two constants values, children. So now let us replace here from equation number 3. What we have, sorry, not equation number 3, that is equation number 2, where the partial fractions are split. Okay, so 15x minus 14 by x minus 1 into x minus 2 or x square minus 3x plus 2 is equal to minus, this is a term here, is equal to what we get? 15x minus 14 by x minus 1 into x minus 2 is equal to minus 1 by x minus 1 plus 16 by x minus 2. Okay, not our sum has not yet completed, children, because this is only the part where the proper fraction is split into partial fraction. But our given sum is an improper fraction now. So there this term has to be replaced. Clear? So what is that? This is our fraction, improper fraction. X to the power of 4 by x square minus 3x plus 2 is equal to, this is our quotient after dividing. After the division process, this is the quotient what we got. X square minus 3x plus 7 plus, this is a proper fraction. Yes or not? This is our equation number 1. So in place of this proper fraction, our two partial fractions has to be replaced. What are the two partial fractions? These are the two partial fractions what we got from equation number 4. So this equation number 4 should be replaced here in place of this. Okay. And then what will be our answer from equations 1 and 4? What will be our final answer? X to the power of 4 by x square minus, one second, children. Here it should be, here one small, this is not 15x minus 14, children. This is not 15x minus 14. It should be x to the power of 4. In place of numerator 15x minus 14, take it as x to the power of 4. Okay, x to the power of 4 by x minus 1 into x minus 2, which is our given sum, is equal to x square minus 3x plus 7 plus minus 1 by x minus 1 plus 16 by x minus 2. Is it clear? So Now, once again, I'm writing this f of x by g of x term here, children. Let's make a note of it. X to the power of 4 by x minus 1 into x minus 2, LHS part. Okay. The LHS is this one. This is our given sum. This is equal to x square minus 3x plus 1. This is our quotient, that is q of x, plus these are the two partial fractions which are split into by our proper fraction. Clear? So like this you have to do the sum, children, whenever you have an improper fraction. So our the next topic is conversion of f of x by g of x, conversion of f of x by g of x in power series of x. So what is this here? What is a power series of f of x by g of x? Let us see here, children. When mod x is less than 1, 1 by 1 minus x, comma, 1 by 1 plus x, comma, 1 by 1 minus x whole square, and 1 by 1 plus x whole square, okay, have the power series expansions. Have the power series expansions. What does it mean? When mod x is less than 1, 1 by 1 minus x, 1 by 1 plus x, 1 by 1 minus x whole square, and 1 by 1 plus x whole square. So all these terms have power series expansions. So what is this power series expansions here? So here, what does it mean? Let us see once again. So already you know the long division method, children. Yes or not? So 1 by 1 minus x if you do, means what is when you are dividing a numerator by denominator, so then what is the expansion, means what is the quotient value what you are going to get, that is nothing but our power series expansion. Okay, so what is that, children? 1 by 1 minus x is what, whenever you do this division part using our long division method, okay, 1 by 1 minus x, so then what is the part what we get here in the quotient, that is our power series expansion. Is it clear? So what we get here, 1 by 1 minus x is equal to, this can be remembered as a formula, children. 1 by 1 minus x is equal to 1 plus x square plus x cube plus so on. X to the power of k means somewhere in between you have x to, this is nothing but our kth term. Okay, so like this so on, you have to will get the quotient term. It will be a never ending process, children. So this is the infinite power series expansion. Is it clear? So similarly, the other fractions, that is 1 by 1 plus x is also there. The other two are also there. So what are the expansions we have? These expansions, how do we get? Only by the division process, children. Nothing more is there in that. 1 minus x plus x square minus x cube plus so on, minus 1 to the power of k into x to the power of k. Why I am using here minus 1 to the power of k? Because here you are getting alternately you are getting plus and minus signs. First term is positive, second is negative, positive, negative, positive, negative, so on. So here in place of this term, we don't know what it is. Means whether it is a positive or negative, we cannot say. So until you know the term number, we cannot say. So that's why we are using here minus 1 to the power of k. Means if this k is a even number, if k is an even number, then what happens? Minus 1 when raised to even number, it becomes positive. If k is odd number, then it becomes negative number. Yes or not? Then it becomes, this term x to the power of k becomes negative. Clear? So for that reason, we are writing it as minus 1 to the power of k into x to the power of k. Next, what is the other two expansions? And here we are using a word. What is that? Mod x is less than 1. What is the meaning of modulus? Already in the previous class, I told you, children, what do you mean by modulus? Means in the first year also you know about modulus. What is this modulus? If you take any value within the modulus, it is considered as, even though it is negative, it is considered as positive. Okay, so when I am saying here mod x is less than 1, less than 1 means what are the values we get less than 1? Few positive values are there and few negative values are also there. Infinite number of values we get, where negative values are also included, yes or not? So in such case, whenever you have a negative value here which is less than 1, that is taken as positive only. That is taken as positive, because every value I'm saying here less than 1. So here if you observe this one, here in the denominator 1 minus x we are doing. Okay, means we are subtracting whatever is the x value, we are subtracting from 1 only. Yes or not? So always here the value of x should be less than 1. Mod x should be less than 1. Okay. So this is a condition for here x value. Modulus of x value, whatever, because to make it as positive term, whatever is the value, even it is negative or positive, to make it as positive, we are taking it as what? Mod x should be always less than 1, so that it can be subtracted from 1. Okay. Now here, these are the two expansions we have seen, children. The other two expansions also, let us see. 1 by 1 minus x whole square is equal to 1 plus 2x plus 3x square plus 4x cube plus so on. So on, k plus 1 into x to the power of k plus so on. What is this here? It is the first term. Second term we have x to the power of second term. Means what is the k value here? Here what I am saying, k plus 1 I am saying. If suppose first term is there, that means k value is 0. Okay. So it is k depending on the term number. This term is what now? K plus 1 into x to the power of k. Whatever is the k value. In here the power of x is considered as our k. What is the power of x here in the first term? It is 0. Yes or not? So 0 plus 1 is nothing but our first term. Second term, what is the power for x? It is 1. X to the power of 1. So k is equal to 1. So that means what here? 1 plus 1 becomes 2. That is, it is a 2 is the coefficient of x. Next, here x to the power of 0, the coefficient is 1. And if k is 2, then 2 plus 1 is 3. So coefficient is 3. So that means whatever is the power here you have for x, the coefficient is plus 1 of that. Yes or not? Here power is 1. The coefficient is 1 plus 1 is 2. Here power is 2. So coefficient is 2 plus 1 is 3. So on. So in general, what we write here, the power is k. Then its coefficient should be how much now? K plus 1. The coefficient should be k plus 1. So this is the expansion. Now next expansion is what, children? 1 by 1 plus x whole square is equal to 1 minus 2x plus 3x square minus 4x cube plus so on, plus minus 1 to the power of k into k plus 1 into x to the power of k plus so on. Again here, why I am using minus 1 to the power of k? The same rule what I told for the 1 by 1 plus x term, because here alternately we are getting minus and plus sign. Yes or not? So because in this place, to know that positive sign or negative sign, we are using it as minus 1 to the power of k. If k is a even number, it will be positive. If k is odd number, it will be negative. Okay, children. Now, these are the 4 expansions what we got, children. For the 4 expansions where the condition is what? Mod x minus 1 is less than 1. If you go on doing like this, the power we are raising. The first two terms are what? 1 by 1 minus x, where the power is 1. 1 by 1 plus x, where the power is 1. Okay. Second is what? 1 by 1 minus x whole square. Means it is, power is taken as 2. So like this, you go on increasing the powers, whole cube, whole to the power of 4, so on. Up to nth term, we take 1 by 1 minus x to the power of n is taken as 1 plus nx plus n into n plus 1 by 2 into x square plus so on. Okay. Now, where n is an integer. N is an integer. So like this, if you go on raising the power in the denominator, this will be the general form. If you observe here by putting 2, this will be satisfied. Let us see once, let us check it once, children. If n is equals to 2, if I put suppose, then it will be down to this one now. 1 plus 2 into x is 2x. N into n plus 1 by 2 I am saying. But 2 into 2 plus 1 is how much? 3. 2 into 3 by 2. 2 gets cancelled. 3x square is left. So like that, whatever the value of n you put, this formula, this will be satisfied. Okay. Means if you remember this formula, whatever is the power you have here, so then you can only write your expansion, because all expansions, see, dividing the means how you are getting these expansions, as already I told you that by long division method we get it. Okay. But so how do you, but every time if the powers are more, it is not easy. It is not easy to do the division. Yes or not? It will be very lengthy method. So to avoid that, what we do, remember this as a formula. But remember this formula, you can only expand any kind of term is there here in the denominator with whatever power, with whatever the means with any highest power, you can only write your own expansion. Is it clear, children? So this formula is important to remember. Now, next one, let us see what it is do with our partial fractions. So let us see a sum here. Find the coefficient of x cube in the power series expansion of 5x plus 6 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x. So what is it, children? What is the question here? Find the coefficient of x cube in the power series expansion of this fraction. What is given? F of x by g of x. Specifying the region in which expansion is valid. What is the meaning of specifying the region? Means for what value of x. We have seen in the 4 expansions mod x is less than 1. You have seen, no? So like that here also for this particular sum, you have to find out the value of x. Okay, now here what is the conversion? Means why you are converting the means any fraction into expansion form. In the expansion form, why you are doing like that? Because here it is easy to find out the it is used to find out the coefficient of any term, any power, any term of with any power. Here in this sum we are considering x cube. It can be, suppose if I ask you, suppose this is there. Suppose if I ask you to find out what is the coefficient of x to the power of 4, if I ask you, or what is the coefficient of x to the power of 6. I don't know whether in this expansion, whether I get x to the power of 6, I get it or not, I don't know. Okay. But if I ask you what is the coefficient of x to the power of 6, then what is your answer? So directly it is not easy to say. Yes or not? So that means you have to go for the division method. Division you have to do. But whenever the, as I said you, whenever the powers are more, higher powers are there, in such case, if I ask you such things, means what is the coefficient of some x to the power of 8 term like that, so it is not easy to do the long division method. Yes or not? It will be very, very lengthy. Yes. So to avoid all such things, we are using this expansions. We are making use of this expansions. So how to do this? Let us see. So first of all, what is our given fraction? 5x plus 6 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x. So this is our given fraction. So what you are doing, children? This is split as this, because the denominator has what? Two linear factors, non-repeated linear factors. Here we get two partial fractions. Yes, this is what our rule number 1. Okay. So here we are taking LCM. This already you know, children. Many sums we did. 5x plus 6 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x is equal to a into 1 minus x plus b into x plus 2 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x. Again the same thing, x plus 2 and x plus 2 on both sides cancelled. 1 minus x into 1 minus x are cancelled on both sides. Then the numerators are left. 5x plus 6 is equal to a into 1 minus x plus b into x plus 2. Again here we have two constants and two linear factors. So we can substitute a value for x. Okay, children. So let us substitute the value for x as 1. Because by putting x is equal to 1, this term becomes 0. So what is that? 5 into 1 plus 6 is equal to a into 1 minus 1 plus b into 1 plus 2. Okay. Now 5 plus 6 is equal to what? A into 0 plus 3b. So it is now 11. 11 is equal to 3b. So then what will be b value? 11 by 3. Okay. Now next one you have to find out. What is the next value we can give here? Putting x is equal to minus 2 here. Because here we have x plus 2. By giving x is equal to minus 2, it will be cancelled. Eliminated. So putting x is equal to minus 2 in 1, we get 5 into minus 2 plus 6 is equal to a into 1 minus of minus 2 plus b into minus 2 plus 2. So what is that? Minus 10 plus 6 is equal to 1 minus of minus is plus. 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 into a is 3a plus b into 0. So what is it, children? Minus 10 plus 6 is minus 4 is equal to 3a. So a is equal to minus 4 by 3. A is equal to how much? Minus 4 by 3. Now we got the two values. Now let us substitute in our partial fractions equation. What is that? This is our partial fractions. Yes or not? And what are the values of a? Minus 4 by 3 and b is equal to 11 by 3. So I'm replacing the values here. So we are, now we have got the partial fractions. Means our given proper fraction is divided into two partial fractions. But what is our question actually? To find the coefficient of x cube. Yes or not? So here what I am doing is, because the what is our means expansion terms, what should be there? They should be in the form of 1 plus x or 1 minus x like that. Yes or not? But here if you observe the term, we have x plus 2, but it should be constant should be only 1 always. Always the constant should be 1. So then how can I make it as 1? By taking 2 common. So what I'm doing here, minus 4 by, I'm taking 2 common here, 3 into 2. This term I'm writing first because it should be in the form of 1 plus x, 1 minus x, so on. Okay. So by taking 2 common, I get here plus 1 plus, here x is there. X becomes x by 2. Okay. Plus here already it is in our form only. No need to change anything here. 11 by 3 into 1 minus x. Here it is there in the form which is required. So now here 2 ones are 2 twos are is cancelled now. Yes. So our what is the division here we get? 2 ones are, here it is 2 twos are. So what is our next equation? 5x plus 6 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x. X plus 2 into 1 minus x is equal to minus 2 by 3 into 1 plus x by 2 plus 11 by 3 into 1 minus x. Okay. Now this is our equation what we get. So now here we are asked to find out the coefficient of x cube in this whole. But here what we did, we have divided, we have separated this whole fraction into two partial fractions. So what I do now, I'll try to find out the coefficient of x cube in the first partial fraction and coefficient of x cube in the second partial fraction. So these two, because these two are the coefficients of x cube terms only now. So now if you add those two coefficients, we'll get the coefficient of x cube term for this whole fraction. Is it clear, children? So let us try to do that. Now it is our equation number 2. Now what is our equation number 2? This is the equation number 2. Now what I am trying to do is expansion of minus 2 by 3 into 1 plus x by 2 is, what is this expansion here? How can you expand this? We have a fraction formula, no? So first this minus 2 by 3, which is a coefficient outside, I'm writing it outside, into 1 minus x by 2 plus x by 2 whole square minus x by 2 whole cube plus so on, plus x by 2 whole to the power of 4 minus x by 2 whole to the power of 5, so on. So what is it, children? It is now in the form of 1 by 1 plus x. Do you remember that one? So what is that formula? Let us see once here. This is our formula. What is that? 1 by 1 plus x is equal to 1 minus x plus x square minus x cube plus so on. Means here alternatively we get plus and minus signs. So now here, but in the term we have x here. But what is there in our term? X by 2. In place of x we have x by 2. So in the same expansion, wherever x is there you put x by 2. So here 1 minus x by 2 plus x by 2 whole square minus x by 2 whole cube, so on. Alternatively plus minus plus minus plus minus, so on. Clear? So it is an infinite expansion series, children. So now here we are asked to find out what? Coefficient of x cube. So where you see the x cube term here. Here x power 1 it is, here x square, here you have the x cube term. Is it clear, children? Is it visible to you properly? Yes. So it is here, it is our x cube term. So let us write that if, what is the condition, children? Mod x by 2 is less than 1 implies mod x is less than 2. Why I am writing here? Because 1 by 1 plus x, what is the condition for this, children? Mod x should be always less than 1. But in our sum, in place of x, what we have? X by 2 we have. So here also we should take x by 2 only. The condition is this is applicable. This is valid. This equation is, this expression is valid only when mod x by 2 is less than 1. If mod x by 2 is less than 1, then what will be the mod x value? The denominator 2 goes other side. It becomes mod x is less than 2. Okay. Now here, let us try to find out the coefficient. X cube term in the expansion of minus 2 by 3 into 1 plus x by 2 is, what is the coefficient of this term? X cube term is what here? Already minus 2 by 3 is there outside. Minus into minus becomes plus 2 by 3 into, here what is the term we have, children? X by 2 whole cube. This is our x cube term. Okay. Now from this we are trying to find out the coefficient. Coefficient of x cube term. The coefficient of x cube term is the coefficient of x cube term in minus 2 by 3 into 1 plus x by 2 is how much, children? Here 2 by 3 into x cube by 2 cube it is. That is nothing but 1 by 8 we get. Yes. So 1 by 8 means what? 2 ones are 2 fours are. If you cancel, what you are getting, children? What you are getting there? 1 by 12. I don't know, children, whether it is visible to you or not. Well, just I'll write it here, children. That same calculation part I am doing here, children. 2 by 3 into 1 by 8. Okay. So it is nothing but what? 2 ones are, 2 fours are. It is how much now? 1 by 12. It is how much? 1 by 12. So what is the coefficient of x cube in this term we got? It is 1 by 12 we got. Clear? So now we have done with the first term. Now we have the same thing we should do with the second partial fraction also. So what is that? This is our equation. Now expansion of 11 by 3 into 1 minus x. So it is already there in that form only. In place of x, we have x only here. So nothing is difficulty here. No difficulty is there here. 11 by 3 into 1 plus x square plus x cube plus x to the power of 4 plus so on. So what is our here? Mod x is, because already x is there. Here also we get mod x only. Mod x is less than 1. What is the formula? By using which formula we expanded it? 1 by 1 minus x is equal to 1 plus x square plus so on. Okay. Now let us see the x cube term here. Where do you find x cube term? Here. Okay. So now let us write the x cube term here. The coefficient 11 by 3 is there here outside. 11 by 3 into x cube. That is our x cube term. Now in this, what is the coefficient of x cube? Tell me. By seeing the term itself, we can tell. What is the term, children? Yes, you are right. It is what? It is 11 by 3. It is 11 by 3. Now we got coefficient of x cube terms in the first partial fraction and in the second partial fraction. But our question is to find out coefficient of x cube term for the whole thing. This one, for the given sum. Okay. So then what you should do? The two terms, the two coefficients should be added together. So what you are doing here? This is our equation number 2. Let us write them. What we know here, the coefficient of x cube in the first term, first partial fraction is 1 by 12 we got, where mod x is less than 2. Okay. Here what we have in this term, in the second partial fraction, what is the coefficient of x cube? It is 11 by 3 if mod x is less than 1. Okay. If you observe here the two conditions, children, here it is mod x is less than 2 and here you have mod x less than 1. So which, see, if any value, whichever is less than 1, it is definitely less than 2 or not? Yes or not? Yes. So now that, but here if you see, if any value is less than 2, is that that every value whichever is less than 2, is it less than 1? No, because in between 1 and 2 also we have many values. Yes or not? Those are all not less than 1. So that means what? By considering these two conditions, what is the value which is applicable for x here? Which value we can consider? Which suits this both? Which is mod x is less than 1. Yes or not? Because any value which is less than 1, that is less than 2 also. Okay. So that's why what you are doing here. Thus, if mod x is less than 1, both the expansions are valid. And hence what we get? And hence the coefficient of x cube in 5x plus 6 by x plus 2 into 1 minus x. X plus 2 into 1 minus x is, what is it? Here the two coefficients should be added together. What is that we get? 1 by 12 plus 11 by 3, which is 45 by 12 we get when you are adding by taking the LCM. So next what is that here? It is nothing but 15. 3 15s are 3 4s are. That is nothing but 15 by 4. Clear, children? So this, like this, we have to find out the coefficient of any term may be given to you in the given fraction f of x by g of x. Now you understood, children, why you are using these expansions here? Because it helps you to find out the coefficient of any term, whichever, because whenever the highest powers are there, it is not easy to do the find the coefficients by doing long division method. Okay, it will be very, very lengthy. So to avoid all such complication, what you are doing here, children, what we do here, that to avoid the complexity, we find out, we use the expansions method to find out the coefficients. Clear? So this is a thing, children. Let us see what have we learned in our today's class. First thing, what have we learned, children? F of x f of x by g of x is a proper fraction. Then if g of x is what, ax square plus bx plus c whole to the power of n, means what, it is a repeated irreducible factor. Then what happens? Then whatever is the n value, that many partial fractions we get. And partial fractions will be of which form? A1x plus b1 by ax square plus bx plus c. Sorry, children. Plus a2x plus b2 by ax square plus bx plus c whole square, and so on. Anx plus bn by ax square plus bx plus c whole to the power of n. So whatever is the n value, means how many times the quadratic factor is repeating, that many partial fractions we get. This is our rule number 4, which you have learned. Okay, hope you understood it clearly, children. And next thing, what have we learned here in today's class about our improper fraction? Partial fractions of f of x by g of x when it is an improper fraction. What is our case 1? If f of x, degree of f of x is equal to degree of g of x, then what is the form we get? We get the quotient as constant. F of x is equal to constant. Clear, children? So here it is, a quotient is constant, and remainder will be either 0 we may get, or else degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x. See, the division process will be continued always whenever this condition is reached, children. Remember this one. Until you get the degree of r of x is less than degree of g of x, you have to continue your division process. Clear? And what is our case 2? If degree of r of x, degree of f of x is greater than degree of g of x, then here in this case, the quotient will be a polynomial. It may be linear or it may be quadratic or whatever it is. But here, other than constant, you get a polynomial. F of x by g of x is equal to q of x plus r of x by g of x. So here also same, children, until where you get continue the division, until you get the remainder, the degree of remainder less than degree of the divisor, that is g of x. Clear? So then it becomes a, the r of x and by g of x becomes a proper fraction. Is a proper fraction which is divided into partial fractions using our 4 methods. 4 rules are there now according to that. So next one is what, interesting one, what you have learned today, conversion of f of x by g of x in power series of x. So this is useful to find out the coefficients of any terms, coefficients of any terms with any power, any highest power also we can find out using the expansions. Clear, children? So this is all we have learned. Let us see the sums, what you are going to have for practice today. So these are the sums what I'm going to give you, children. Resolve x to the power of 4 plus 24x square plus 28 by x square plus 1 whole cube into partial fractions. What is it? Here the power is what here, children? It is 4. Yes. And here we have in the denominator, what we have here? In the denominator, it is a quadratic factor, irreducible quadratic factor, where it is repeated. When you have a repeated quadratic factor, you know the rule number 4. So using rule number 4, this has to be solved. So try this sum, children. And what is the next one? X cube by 2x minus 1 into x minus 1 whole square into partial fractions. Clear? So here also it is same kind of sum, children. Here, third one, what is the sum? Find the coefficient of x to the power of 4 in the power series expansion of 3x square plus 2x by x square plus 2 into x minus 3. Clear? So here you are asked to find out the coefficient of x to the power of 4. Clear? The x to the power of 4 means what you will do here? We should find out the expansions of, first of all, this has to be split into partial fractions. Then for each partial fraction, find the expansion, and from there you try to find out the coefficient of x to the power of 4. Clear? So like this, these are the sums given to you, children. Try to solve the sums. And this is our today's class, children. By this, our partial fractions chapter is concluded. Hope everyone enjoyed all the 3 sessions, children. Hope you understood it very well. If still any more doubts are there to you, watch the videos again and again until your doubts are clarified. Okay, children? Thank you, children. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Purnima madam, for your wonderful session. You have taken 3 sessions of partial fractions, and all the 3 sessions were excellent. Children, this is a very important chapter, as whatever you have learned in this chapter will be very useful for you to solve integration problems in Mathematics 2B. So as Madam has said, you go through the lessons and sessions once again and note down all the points and try to solve all the problems. Thank you once again.
Madam, thank you. You all may leave now. Huh? Thank you very much, Deepa Madam and Purnima Madam.
Thank you so much, ma'am.